Number 11 is very similar to number 3 and 7. It's asking us to once again solve for the 6 trigonometric functions, or the other 5 trigonometric functions, given that we know what tangent of theta is. So tangent of theta, since we already know what it is, we don't need to solve for that one. What would be helpful, however, would be a right triangle. Now remember, you can draw a right triangle in any orientation that you want. I'm going to draw it like this, and I'm going to put my theta value up here. So tangent, remember, is opposite over adjacent, so that means this is 7 and this is 3. Okay, which means we need to figure out our h value. Now, to quickly, since we already know what tangent of theta is, we can very quickly figure out what cotangent theta. Cotangent would just be the reciprocal, so in this case 3 over 7. So we need to figure out the other 4 at this point. Using the Pythagorean theorem, 3 squared plus 7 squared equals h squared, or 9 plus 49 equals h squared. 9 plus 49 is 58 equals h squared. So if you're going to take the square root of 58, you should notice that there's no perfect square root for it. So what we're going to do is, if you take the square root, you'll also see that h is equal to square root of 58 comes down to square root of 2, square root of 29. Once again, notice, just like in problem number 7, we have 2 prime numbers here, so we can just leave it as the square root of 58 is equal to h. So h in this case, square root of 58. So let's go ahead and use these values to solve for the other 5 trigonometric functions. Let's go ahead and start with sine. So sine of theta is equal to, sine of theta is equal to opposite over the hypotenuse. Once again, you can never have a radical in the denominator. And so we will have a final answer here of 7 root 58 all over 58. Alright, now going over to cosecant, we're going to take a look at the very first part of sine, so 7 over root 58, and we're just going to flip that. So square root of 58 over 7. And because there's no radical in denominator, that's our final answer. Let's take a look at cosine theta. Cosine theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, or 3 over square root of 58. Once again, we run into this similar problem that we did in sine, so we'll multiply top and bottom by square root of 58. And by doing so, you'll get 3 root 58 over 58. For secant, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at the very beginning of cosine. You'll have radical 58 over 3. There's no radical in denominator, and it can't be simplified. And we're done.